Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Lock Shop. Thursday Night Football, Bills and Patriots. If you want to bet it, you can do it at coolbet.com. Sign up for an account today. Just use the code LOCKSHOP if you're not yet signed up, and you'll get a 100% deposit bonus on initial deposit up to $200. Haas, I know you're a football guy now, but are you ready for some Thursday Night Football?
I'm definitely ready for some Thursday Night Football, although that is the biggest challenge of being here in Doha is, the time difference is absolutely bananas. Like, my show, Winnipeg Sports Talk, usually starts at 1 p.m. It starts at 10 p.m. here. Most of the Eastern games start at 3 a.m. Like a Jets home game is 4 a.m. And the primetime NFL games start at 4:20 p.m. So, or 4:20 a.m., excuse me. So it has been difficult to see a few of the primetime games. But this is an interesting one, between the Bills and the New England Patriots. And, we had Jake on the show yesterday, who was a card-carrying member of the Pat Station, not the Bills Nation, there in Southern Ontario. And we were out for lunch and talking about the last few games between these teams. And really, really intriguing matchup, to be honest with you, between a Bills team that, is still knocking on the door of the number one seed with the Chiefs, and the Patriots, who are actually outside of the playoff line right now at 6-5, but very, very much in the mix when you see how many teams that are just one game ahead at 7-4. So it sets up a huge divisional game tonight in Foxborough between these two teams, with a heck of a lot on the line for both squads.
It's a huge game for both teams. There's no doubt about that. And it was a tough one to get a read on, man. In the end, we both settled on Buffalo -4, and we both settled on the under 43.5. But that 4 number, it opened at 5.5 here. So the money's been coming in on the Patriots. They've moved it down to Buffalo 4. Do you think this creeps any lower, Huss? Or if we're on Buffalo, it's now the time to get in on the Bills at a 4-point spread here?
Well, for sure. And full disclosure, we are recording this a little earlier than, if you're seeing this on the stream live, because I'm going to be at the Canada-Morocco soccer game here in Doha. But it has been wild to be watching this line over the course of the last 2 days fall from 5.5 to 5 to 4.5 and now to 4. And I'll be honest, I was sort of leaning Patriots earlier on. Bill Belichick, kind of a real close game type. But once it got to 4, I basically just I had a very difficult time, full disclosure, I had a very difficult time making this pick. It didn't, sometimes you look at a game and you just know the way you're going to go.
Yeah. I
really didn't on this one. And there's for a few reasons. I think back to last year, the games between the Pats and Bills were so crazy. They had that one game where Mac Jones threw only 3 times. Yeah. And they won. And I think that game was actually in Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
14-10 in Buffalo. 14-10 in Buffalo.
And then obviously a completely different story when they got together at the playoffs with what Buffalo had been doing. So, the Bills had a tough run. They played the 2 games in 5 days in Detroit. And they got pushed. They got pushed close. Really hard. The Detroit Lions are playing really, really good football right now and hanging in games, and they made them earn it. I just think that the Bills are just, a much better team overall than the Patriots. And 4 points, I think, is more than good value on Buffalo in this situation in most cases. Here's the other thing. I know people are really high on Mac Jones and all got to see him play in primetime last week against the Minnesota Vikings on that Thursday nighter, Dusty. But let's not forget that the week before, they won 10-3 on a last-minute punt return against the New York Jets. It's not like Mac Jones has consistently been this guy throughout the season. I think it's time for the Buffalo Bills to step up right now. And to be honest, that's why if I had to make one bet in this game, I think I'm going on the under 43.5. But I'm going to lay the points on the Buffalo Bills. And I think that the Buffalo defense, is going to be able to step up and maybe exert itself Part of the reason why, I mean, listen, the field goal prop is always there, and I'm waiting for a number right now. It's always usually plus 120, plus 125. Although with how often it is hit in primetime games right now, I can't believe that CoolBet is still giving us that juicy plus 120 or plus 125. Check that out wherever it is. By the time you watch this, it should be up on Thursday. But to me, I think this is a big statement for the Bills defense, and I think a real challenge for Mac Jones to build off the game that he had against the Minnesota Vikings. I'm just not so sure he'll be able to do that against a very good Bills defense.
I was so torn on this to the point that when I put it in the graphics, I have gone back and forth a couple of times because and the reason that I'm hesitant on this is because the Bills just seem off a little bit. You know, like they're 8-3. They've been scoring points, but Allen's had the odd turnover here and there. It's a road game. We know they're really good at home. So one of the least confident Thursday night picks, I think, of the season so far. And if the numbers still would have been up at 5.5 where it opened, might be on the other side of this one. But you know, the last two times they played, Buffalo has rolled all over them. So the Bill Belichick against the Bills, I mean, I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I mean, they've done extremely well. Embarrassed them in the playoffs last year, beat them after getting that weird loss at home, went down to New England and beat them after that. And then, look, the Pats have won 6 of their last 8. But let's lay this out for you. You mentioned the Jets squeaked one out last minute play. They beat the Colts 26-3. The Colts are shit. They beat the Jets again 22-17. They beat Cleveland, non-playoff team. They shut out Detroit, non-playoff team. And their only other win this season was against Pittsburgh, a non-playoff team. So they've got 6 wins. The only playoff team they've beaten is the Jets, who won't be in the playoffs when it's all said and done. And they beat them twice. So, like, they haven't, to me, the Patriots haven't beaten a good football team yet this year. And the last time they played a mobile quarterback, Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears spanked them. So that's drawn me back around to the Buffalo side at only 4. Buffalo's going to score points. That's what Buffalo does. I mean, they've scored 27 in 4 of their last 5. Can New England score enough points to keep it close? And I'm not too sure they can. I love their running back, but outside of that, man, a couple of their receivers have popped up on the injury report this week. I don't know how I don't think they can slow down the Bills, and I don't think they can stay with them. So, in the end, settled on an unconfident Buffalo -4. Then I am with you on the under 43.5 here. This is not playing in a dome against Minnesota and scoring a bunch of points. This is going to be a little bit of a different atmosphere here against a better team, in my opinion. So, under 43.5.
You just did a hell of a job, man. I'm more confident in the Bills than I was 10 minutes ago. I'm ready to go. I mean,
mission accomplished.
Well, and part of it is, and you know what, let's go. And this is another thing I was talking with Jake about, you know, when deciding on, touchdown props. Josh Allen, if you look at his rushing numbers in the game, like he's at 10, 11, 12 carries and, 5-6 yards a carry against the New England Patriots. The plus 220 on an Allen anytime touchdown really jumped out to me. Now, he hasn't gotten in the end zone in any of these last 3 games, but Josh Allen is always dangerous when it comes to that position. I don't have a lot of confidence in any of the guys carrying the football right now for the Bills. Certainly the guy who you can count on being the guy. Let's face it, Josh Allen is the guy. And I think when it comes to short yardage, the potential of a sneak or the big guy just putting the ball over the line is always there right now. So give me the Josh Allen anytime TD. I think there's good value on that, a plus 220, a pretty good number. And as I mentioned, if the defenses step up, field goals are definitely a possibility. We've had a couple recently where basically one team cashed the field goal prop themselves. So I will probably be, I will be on that field goal prop as soon as it's up right now. So when you're watching this a little closer to game time, you can check that out right there. But I'm feeling better about this Bills pick. This is a difficult game. These divisional matchups always can sometimes come up and surprise you, but I'm not expecting tons of points. I do like the under, and I think right now this is the time to bet the Bills if you wanted it at -4.
if there's any points coming for the New England Patriots, I think it's on the ground with Ramondre Stevenson. It's actually the only way they can win this football game. Stevenson's going to have a huge game. They're going to have to control the ball the entire time. He's been excellent. I mean, when given more opportunity, and I know in New England, that running back situation, especially from a fantasy perspective over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, always a frustrating spot because they'll mix in other running backs and things like that. But Stevenson's a stud. I mean, he just is. So touchdown plus 130 for Ramondre Stevenson. And then we get on Buffalo here in the first half, over 11.5 points at minus 110 with the way that they've been scoring lately. Look, New England has a decent pass rush, but Josh Allen's a guy who can kind of get out there and make some plays. And I think the Pats might force him to get on the run. And I don't think that's a bad thing. So I'm going to be on Buffalo here over 11.5 in the first half at minus 110. A solid start for the Bills would be my prediction on Thursday night, buddy.
You just mentioned the Ramondre Stevenson. I am maybe the biggest proponent of the screw the New England backfield.
Yeah.
I have not had any. Well, I guess I had Harris, but basically I picked him just because it was so damn late. It was like the 15th round, and nobody wanted any piece of the New England backfield. This Stevenson right now, especially in PPR leagues, is absolutely blowing up right now. Now, this could be a one-year thing. You could have another guy in there, but for right now, he's going to be a guy that the Bills are absolutely going to have to worry about. Because honestly, I don't think Mac Jones is going to be chucking the ball around like he did last week. Or if he does, Trey White's back. They're getting healthy again on the Buffalo side of the defensive football. I mean, that could mean some turnovers. I wouldn't mind checking into the turnover props, actually.
It should be a good enough defense anyway, don't you think?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, they're still going to have to put some pressure on and get to Mac Jones. But once that ball gets out in the air, put it this way, I'm just not expecting the success he had throwing the football that he did against the Minnesota Vikings against the Bills this week. But yeah, Bills -4. You made me feel better about this pick. I was agonizing about it heading into it.
Well, how about Monday night? Perfect again on Monday night. So 6 for 6 Monday night with our bets. And then, 4 for 4 Monday. Last Monday, 6 for 6. So we've been rolling on Monday nights. And hopefully we can do it here on Thursday night as well, buddy. I think that would be
4 for 4, and the field goal prop came in. The field goal prop came in. I got a few.
That's true. We got the field goal prop on top of it. So.
The only thing that didn't come in were, we popped a couple of touchdown props on the Steelers and Freiermuth and Pickens. Those didn't come in, but the side was great. The total was right. And obviously that field goal prop, and I know you had another one as well. I think it was the Indy under total points. So by the way,
that's right.
Jeff Saturday. Oh, did I call that right? This is going to be a time for Mike Tomlin to maybe show that maybe some experience matters as a head coach. That business, and the way he talked about it, why is anyone even questioning my time management at the end of the game?
What are you talking about, man? I like the best tweet I saw was somebody tweeted, Jeff Monday sucks. Which I thought that was some pretty fine work. That was pretty elite. So yeah, no, that was good. All right, that's going to do it for a Thursday Night Football preview, Bills and Patriots. Any of the bets that we laid out for you can find, of course, at coolbet.com, and more player props popping up here the closer we get to kickoff as well. Lock Shop, every episode brought to you by our partners at Coolbet, and we'll be back with another episode on Friday giving you our best bets for Week 13 in the National Football League. And if you've been watching on Twitter or you've been listening to the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to push up to 1,000 subscribers, and then we're going to give away $1,000 cash to one of those subscribers. All right. So all you have to do is just search Lock Shop Bets on YouTube. You'll find it. Give us a sub, and best bets tomorrow. Huss, can't wait, buddy.
I'm already agonizing over it. But as I said, I knew I made a terrible pick last week with the Bears. Still escaped at 2-2, 31-17. Got to keep this rolling. This is the most stressful point of my entire week, Thursday into Friday, before we make the 4 best bets for Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. And that is going to be pretty much my final act in Qatar. I will be leaving for the airport shortly after doing the show. And I should, Air Canada willing, be back and probably be completely screwed up from the flight and everything like that, but at least be back in Canada for NFL Sunday. So looking forward to that. I will talk to you tomorrow, Dusty.